Hey, I'm Mark Lambert here with Barbara Latimer.
Yeah.
We're here at the Sweet Swine of Mine Distributing Test Kitchen on a big weekend for Sweet Swine of Mine and the SCA groundbreaking whole hog contest. And we're doing a little bit of cooking here. We've got a whole hog cooked for lunch. We're going to cook a bunch of different stuff, and what better thing to do than, you know, kind of show you guys some of the things we're doing here and get a feel for some of our recipes and things we like to do for the holidays. And what are you going to cook for us, Barbara?
So today I'm going to cook a rosemary bread, which is so easy. It's like 3 simple ingredients. And I'm also going to show you my favorite mashed potato recipe as well. And we're also going to go through a little bit of decor for your table for those who want a little bit of options of what you can do with some of the things that are just around your house.
Cool deal. Ken Phillips with the SCA and also on the NBBQA Board is going to come by later, and he's going to show us his family's recipe for stuffing.
Exactly, yeah. And so hopefully we'll have some other recipes from some of our other board members as well. So
yeah, and we got a few other folks hanging around here. There's a bunch of people in the periphery cooking different things, setting up for the weekend. So we may have a guest appearance or two. You never know.
Sounds
all
good.
right, we got a whole spiral cut ham from our local Piggly Wiggly. You can get this anywhere. It doesn't matter where you get it or what brand it is. We're going to prepare this for you and show you how simple it is to make a really good spiral cut ham for your family for the holidays, and what makes it extra special by putting it on the smoker and cooking it just a little bit. This is fully cooked, but a little extra work, just a tiny bit of extra preparation, makes a huge difference in the flavor. We'll show you what we're talking about.
Can't wait.
Okay, we've got our ham ready to go. All we just left to do really, we're just going to cut this out of the bag. You'll notice it's sitting in a pan that's already got some seasoning in it because we did one earlier. So this is a shank portion, meaning this goes to the shank. This is already spiral cut and it is already cooked. However, there is a lot of juice. And if you look at ham, one of the ham specs is ham water added, and that's what we have here. There's a lot of water added. Part of that's due to the curing process. So I'll try to trap as much in this bag as I can to throw away to make it easier. There's going to be plenty of liquid cooked out of this already. And if you get a little, little pieces sticking out right there, if you want to fold it in, you can do that, but don't worry too much about it. Okay, what we're going to use is we're going to use a little French's yellow mustard. We're just going to put a little bit on the outside here. And guys, this isn't going to impart really any mustard flavor after this cooks. What this is going to do, just like in the barbecue world, we use this to as a foundation to help hold seasoning, to make sure we get lots of good seasoning stuck on the outside of this ham. Because we can only season the outside, we want a lot on the outside. So, Sweet Swine of Mine, apple chipotle rub. You can use your favorite barbecue rub, anything you want. But we're just going to give it a nice coat of this apple chipotle rub all the way around. Give it a little tilt to make sure that it gets good coverage. Just work your way all the way around. And you can kind of throw it from the side, if you know what I mean, to make sure that you get the side coverage on there. And that's about it, y'all. So, we're going to take this over. We're going to cook this on a Green Mountain pellet grill. We're going to run it at about 250 degrees, and we'll check it and see what it looks like. What's going to happen to these sides, these cuts are going to start to open up, and the whole thing we're doing here is removing moisture. Anytime you remove moisture, you intensify the flavor, and because there is an excessive amount of added moisture into this ham, we're going to make sure we spend some time to remove that moisture and allow this beautiful bark on the outside to set. We are intensifying the flavor of an already really good product. We're just going to make it better and warm it up for the holidays table. So thank y'all for watching. We're going to take this over to the smoker and get it going. Okay, we've got our ham ready. It was in the Green Mountain Grill this time. You can cook it in any smoker you like. Use a mild smoke. I think we ran around 265 degrees. It took about 2 hours and 45 minutes. And you can notice the way you know it's done is not really by temperatures, where you start to get these separating layers, where your spiral layers start to separate. That's how you know that you're losing enough moisture. And also, look at this really nice crust as well. You're developing that beautiful crust, and all of your slices are starting to separate. That means your moisture content is getting right, and it is ready to go. It's cooked and ready to eat before you put it in. Now it's just really nice and happy. So What you want to do to carve this thing, super simple, is that to get in there and find which direction your bone runs. We just like to slice down, and then we're going to pull out a nice section of slices right here all at once. We're kind of cutting down the edge of the bone. Now we're going to pull all these out at once. And you can serve these. You can fan them out on your tray. But at the end of the day, what you're looking for is that wonderful ham, spiral ham. It's got a little crust on the outside, that apple chipotle, and it's had a lot of that moisture removed. At the end of the day, that's what you're trying to do here. You create a little extra layer of flavor with the smoke, and you're trying to remove moisture to intensify the flavor. So, pretty simple. You can arrange this however you want. I like to serve this personally with a Sister Schubert roll, which is kind of a Parker House roll. But hey, you can make a ham sandwich out of this. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's a Christmas favorite. Y'all try it at home. Thanks for watching us here at the National Barbecue and Grilling Association. Peace out.
Hello everyone, and welcome to NBBQA's holiday video series. We hope that you're gonna get a little tips and tricks out of this. I know a lot of times it's nice just to see what different people are doing to spark some ideas and try some new stuff. So with that said, my name is Patrick Murty. I'm the current NBBQA president. I've been involved with NBBQA for 8 or 10 years now, and it's just a wonderful organization. For anybody who's into it knows it's a great networking experience, and really helps get people started in the business of barbecue and points people in the right direction. I also own a restaurant called Company 7 Barbecue in Englewood, Ohio, with my brother-in-law and my father-in-law, so it's a family-owned business. And NBBQA was instrumental in us getting together. Our first conference was in Memphis, Tennessee, and we met wonderful people that helped us along the way, guided us on what we needed to open a restaurant, and really $50,000 to $100,000 worth of consulting fee just for sitting at the beer and buying somebody a beer, sitting at the bar, and asking questions. So with that said, for this series, I'm gonna do a Blackberry Peach Crisp. I'm gonna throw a little zinger in it. We're gonna do some Four Roses bourbon in it. Since the holidays, make it a little upscale, if you will. We're also gonna use mayonnaise as the brown sugar and oatmeal topping base, just to give it a little creaminess on the top versus maybe normal crisps. So let's get started. I've got a cup of dark brown sugar and a cup of whole grain oats, and then we're going to take a cup of the oatmeal, or the cup of the mayonnaise, and we're gonna put that in there. And then, depending on what you like cinnamon wise, I've got about a teaspoon and a half of cinnamon. So I kind of like the cinnamon in there, the flavor. And especially again for the holidays and with the bourbon, it'll go really nice, pair really well, give it that warm Christmas feeling. So you're gonna stir that a little bit just to kind of start. And while you're making your topping, super easy dessert, really quick. You can start your oven at 350. If you'd like to throw another spin on it, you can throw it in the smoker. You want to make sure that you don't smoke it low and slow like maybe we're used to. You're going to want to do something a little faster and hotter at 350, 375. That smoke will probably give it a little extra flavor as well. So we're just going to mix it up a little bit, and then after that, get our hands dirty, and we're going to make clumps. Probably most of you have made some kind of cobbler or crisp in the past, so you understand this process. So I'm not really telling you anything new. So we're gonna make those clumps. It's gonna take a little bit. So why we talk about that, we talk about NBBQA. So again, I started with them years ago. It's been a great organization to deal with. I've been on the board and served in multiple capacities, and it's really an organization that you gotta you got to put in what you're going to get out. You got to ask questions. You got to be able to go up in front of people. You know, don't be afraid, especially when we have our conventions. It's a great time because everybody's a little more relaxed. You can really dig into people's minds, get good information, swap phone numbers. There was lots of times we would call people like the shed and whatever and have questions for them, and they'd have no problem giving us answers right away because they knew what it meant to be in that position before, and they would tell you what they did to be successful. And then we actually met somebody who had a restaurant in Cincinnati, and they let us come in and volunteer work, and he taught us everything that we needed to know to run the restaurant. We had our recipes, we were doing backyard cooking and a little bit of competition type stuff locally, but we didn't know what to do to actually cook for a large scale. So we got the topping ready. We got the smoker of the oven going, 350 degrees. So we're going to take that, put it aside. We're gonna take our blackberries and some peaches. It's about 2 cups of fresh blackberries and about a peach and a half of peeled and sliced peaches. So whatever you like there. If you like a little more peaches, a little more blackberry, you can do what you want there. So we're going to sweeten this fruit up a little bit. 2 tablespoons of sugar. We're going to put in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to help thicken it while it cooks. Get a little citrus action. We're going to do about a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of lime juice. Get that sweet and acidic going. So I'm going to stir this a little bit before the cornstarch starts kind of setting in. And then we are going to take about a shot to 2 shots of 4 Roses bourbon. Save a little bit for myself later. And you're just gonna mix that good. You can let it sit for a little bit if you'd like, whatever you'd like to do. And if you need to prep something early, put it in the refrigerator, get it started. But once you're ready, you're just gonna take yourself a nice dish, whether you want a round one here. It's a little white, so it doesn't show up as well in the video here, but pour all your fruit in first. Doesn't need to have butter or anything like that, since it's not going to stick on use a non-stick surface like that. Spread that evenly. You're going to take your topping brown sugar mix with the Duke's mayonnaise and oats, and whatever's easiest for you. But I'm gonna spread this out. Mine, I didn't make mine maybe as clumpy as some like, but I kind of make it so it's more of a spread with this, since I'm going to make it a little thicker crust on the top. You just gotta kind of play with the recipe just like any of us know and perfect what works best for you. And then we're gonna finish that off again, 350 smoker oven, till it's done, if you will, probably about 30-40 minutes. You'll see where it starts to kind of brown on the top. So another little suggestion I have with this, a lot of people say you can serve it with vanilla ice cream. Obviously, if you do vanilla ice cream, you can throw again another little zinger in there, do a little bourbon ice cream. But there's also, I've seen before in the past, and messed with it before, and it makes a really nice, subtle, nice little twist on whipped cream. And you can smoke your cream, and you just put it in a bowl, put it in your smoker. You're gonna put it in there for maybe, I think it was 15-20 minutes that I did last time. And you're just gonna stir the cream every 5 minutes or so to make sure that the top doesn't get all the smoke. And then you just layer it through the smoke. And then you take that cream and you make homemade whipped cream, just like you normally would. That extra little smoke flavor on top of this crisp just gives it that kind of that, what is that when people eat it? So maybe a little tip that helps you guys out. So again, I hope you enjoy the holiday video series. I know we were happy to put it together. And again, you know, it's all about putting the tips out, sparking interest and sparking ideas, and getting together and having a good time. So we hope to see you at the next convention. If ever anybody needs anything, just don't hesitate to ask. That's what I tell people all the time with this organization. Again, it's what you put into it is what you get out of it, and you just got to ask questions, and you'll get answers. And happy holidays, have a safe one, and take care. Thank you.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Chimney Cartel channel. Today we're making some banana bread. Let's have some fun. They say you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. The same's true with banana bread. Notice the one-handed action. If you get an eggshell into your eggs, don't worry, use the empty shell to get it out. It magically attracts it. There's your pro tip for the day. After you got the eggshell out, start whisking and do it in a circular motion. It's better than doing it on a side and just kind of beating it down. That's how you really whisk. Pro tip number 2. After you're done whisking, set it aside. Put a stick of butter in a bowl, place it in the microwave to get it softened, get it melted, so it'll be all ready for you to add 3/4 cups of brown sugar. Mix those two together, and you can, I mean, it's so good, you can probably eat this just by itself. Butter and sugar, what better concoction could there be? But it's probably not that healthy for you, so you might not want to. Once that brown sugar and butter is all mixed together, give you that creamy look, then pour in your 2 eggs that you've whipped. And then what you'll do with those is you'll mix them all together. Now, once it's thoroughly mixed, here comes the fun part. You get to start smushing bananas. The recipe calls for 2.5 cups of smushed bananas. I only had 3 bananas, so that's what I used. And the end result was still very flavorful. But use what's on your hand. If you have 2.5 cups, that would be remarkable. And you'll have fun just squishing them. Or smushing them, like we like to say. Once your bananas are all smushed into your bowl, use your fork and mix it all together, smushing all those big pieces into little pieces. This will help scatter that banana flavor throughout your entire loaf. Like I said, usually it's 2.5 cups, but I did with what I had. Still turned out wonderful with all the flavor. Notice as I continue to stir, the bigger pieces become smaller pieces. And I just use the side of the bowl. Just smash the fork, smash the bigger pieces against the side of the bowl. And once I get it to the consistency I like, I add about 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons of cinnamon to get that flavor to permeate throughout the banana bread. I love some cinnamon in my banana bread. And just mix all that together and then get it ready to add about 2 cups of flour. Now, once you get all your flour poured in, here comes the fun part again. You get to stir. We all love stirring. So get it all mixed in together, get it ready for your bread pan. Pro tip number 3, have a prepared bread pan with a piece of parchment paper in the bottom. That'll help for later use. Then you pour your mixture all through it, get it all evenly spread throughout the pan. And I like to scrape the bowl, get every last little bit out of there to add little extra bread, little extra flavor. Get that, just clean that bowl. And it saves on some cleaning in the dishwasher. And you know that you've not wasted very much at all. Then once it's all in there, you take your little rubber spatula, get it all patted in there, smooth it out a little bit, so that it's even as it bakes. The worst thing that we could do as a cook is to cook unevenly. And so you spread it out, get it all even, then you take it and stick it in the oven. Don't mind my bare feet. It was a Sunday morning and I wanted to make some bread. Bare feet aside, I place my bread mixture into the oven at about 350 degrees for 30 minutes, and there is your end results. Look how golden brown that is across the top. Just to ensure that it's done, I take a skewer, put it down right in the middle to make sure the middle's done, and it came out clean as a whistle, as you can see. Then I take it, flip it over onto a cooling rack. Notice how easy it came out. That parchment paper in the bottom helps it keep from sticking to the bottom, and comes out perfect. After it cools enough, I take my Gunther Wilhelm knife, slice it up into slices, and there we have banana bread on a Sunday morning.
Hi, and like Mark said, I am Barbara with Sonny's Barbecue, but I'm also honored to be your president-elect for the National Barbecue Association Board. And today, what I'm getting ready to show you is maybe some things that you can do for your table at Christmas or the holidays or anything where you're trying to do something formal. So we're going to start with just a simple setup. You know, a lot of times people will have just plates and silverware and maybe a tablecloth, which is great, but there's also ways that you can dress it up with just some of the things around your house or even at a discount store. So let's start with some basics. So first, nice tablecloth helps, and then what I love to do to dress up is what they call chargers. You can do either something rustic or you can do something a little more formal. These came from a tree in our backyard, and so I had several of them cut up. I have about 6 over here, but just simple that were cut by our tree guy. And then you can also go to the store, and then these were really inexpensive. I think I got them at Target. They were just very light, but they really dress up a plate. We're gonna put that one over here and put that plate there. So it just kind of gives it a different dimension. And you can even add and stack plates, and eclectic is really good as well. You don't have to have all matchy-matchy. So we're just going to do a little bit of differences here. Now, the other thing that you can do, what I love, is just kind of decorating the middle of the table. So here I just took a simple piece of burlap that you can really get anywhere. Like a Hobby Lobby or Ace Hardware. I think I picked up some at one point there as well. So just kind of put that in the table. You can do one of two things. If you want to make it rustic, you can put some lanterns in the middle of it, add some wood chips. If you want to go a little bit more rustic, especially with a wood charger. And then for Christmas, you just want to add some color and just get some inexpensive, as that one runs away, get some inexpensive Christmas bulbs, okay? And just kind of put it out there. The other thing you can do is, rather than just a simple silverware set like this, you can wrap the silverware in a napkin, nice colorful napkin, and then you can take it, get some twine, just some simple twine from the store. This actually came from Michael's. And then just kind of put it around the napkin, like so. And then to spruce it up, just took a little bit of rosemary on a plant outside. Thank you, Mark, for that. And then just stick it in there. And then if we want to dress it up a little bit more, put another white plate on top. And then you just have a little bit elevated decoration that's easy to do. If you want to, let's take out the rustic part real quick. If you want to add more decoration, take out the wood chips, and if you want to make it a little bit more formal, you can easily pick up some bottles. Got one already made up. And then just, again, Michael's, any place that has just dried flowers, and set that up there. Even the dollar store has some great little things like this. See? And then make sure you put it flat so it doesn't fall over. And then just add some greenery in the middle. And again, we're just gonna add some more color, like so. And then you're all set. Just a quick and easy way to set and elevate your holiday dinner, whether it's for Thanksgiving or for Christmas or even for New Year's. Just an easier way to go from this to this. Okay, so now we're going to show you my favorite bread recipe, which is a rosemary bread recipe, and it's so simple, you're gonna love it. So the ingredients are 3 cups of flour, You have a 1.5 teaspoons of salt, you have 2 tablespoons of rosemary, and a 1/2 teaspoon of yeast, and a 1.5 cups of water. And so the easiest thing is really just blend all the dry ingredients together, except for the yeast, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes. All right, so you just add the salt, rosemary, and to the flour, and I use a bread flour, and then you just mix those ingredients like so. And then what you're going to do is you're going to heat up your 1.5 cups of water so that the temperature is somewhere around 109 to 115 degrees. And so let me just double check here. Perfect. All right, now there are some recipes that'll say that you can add the yeast in with the dry ingredients, but we have found that the yeast doesn't disperse as evenly as it should to help it rise, and so we mix it in the hot water. And I say we because my husband is an amazing cook and he loves making the bread, so he's been the tester of all this. All right, so you just make sure it's all mixed in well there, and then really all you're going to do is just take that and then just mix it in, and then just start folding it. Now, this is mixing it by hand. You also can do it in a mixer, but up here where we're at Mark Lambert's place, we didn't bring that, so I'm just doing this by hand. But the traditional way to do it as well is just in a mixer. And then you just fold that in, put that all together like so. And believe it or not, all of that flour does actually mold into some dough. All right, so we're gonna fast forward here and get that mixed, and then once that is mixed, you will put some plastic wrap on top of it, and then you're going to, I put it in the oven with like the light on to kind of give it a little bit of warmth, and then that will sit there in the oven for about 2 hours until it rises. So you just mix that all in, okay? Like so. And then when you put it in the oven, and after 2 hours, it will rise and look like this. Looks good, doesn't it? All right. The easy part then is from here, you will take some parchment paper. So one of the things that you can also do, before I'll put that in there, is you can actually, when you're heating up the oven, put your Dutch oven in the oven while you're heating it up so that it's getting hot and you're mixing all the ingredients, because as you saw, that took no time at all. And so you can just have that heating and ready to go. And then now you're gonna just take this and put it in another bowl. And the reason why I put it in another bowl is because it helps keep the shape, so it's easier to put it in the Dutch oven. Oftentimes when you put it on the parchment paper flat, the dough just kind of starts to spread. And so this way it stays in. All right, so now that my pot is ready, I'm gonna set it in like so. Okay, and then I'm just gonna put the lid on, and then we're gonna cook it in the oven with the lid on for 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna take it off and cook it another 15 minutes to just kind of brown the top of the bread. Okay, so now that The bread is ready. We're ready to cut it. Keep in mind the Dutch oven is extremely hot, so be very careful, okay? So I'm just gonna take the bread out, and that is what it's gonna look like. I will take this, nice and hot, and then we're just gonna cut this up. I mean, look at that. Looks awesome. Okay, and then you just put a little butter on it. And then eat it. And it is good to go. So good. You're gonna be the favorite.
I'm Ken Phillips with the Steak Cook-Off Association. Every year on Thanksgiving, I get elected to make stuffing. Everyone asks what's the difference, stuffing or dressing. I guess when you put it in the bird, it's stuffing. And when you cook it on the side, it's called dressing. So I got this recipe from a sweet lady named Joan. She made this for me once, and I sweet talked her out of the recipe. So you start out by chopping onions and celery. I use about 1 large onion, and I use the core of the celery, so it's about 5 to 6 sticks. Chop it up fine. Today I'm using fresh sage. Mark grows it here, so you can use dried sage, but I chopped it very fine, and this goes in. And a stick of butter. Everything's better with butter. So the vegetables, I'm gonna fry those down until they're nice and tender. And then we have white bread. I use Wonder Bread. I even use the crust. Don't dry it out, don't use stuffing cubes. Just good old-fashioned white bread. So tear this up, and this can wait while we cook the vegetables. So let me get those cooking, and I'll be right back. All right, we're back. I cooked down the onion, celery, butter, and sage till it's kind of the translucent stage. So nice, fork soft. And now the rest of the ingredients. So to this is the white bread. Just dump it right in. So that was 1 whole loaf. This is 5 hard-boiled eggs. Yep, hard-boiled eggs. It adds a great richness, it's a creaminess, so chop those up. And then you want to mix it. Gloves, you can use a big spoon. Nothing better than your hands though. So you want to mix the bread, the egg, and all of the vegetables at the bottom. Probably be neater than this, but so I'm going to keep stirring it. That's probably good enough. So this are some Gulf fresh oysters. They are beautiful. You can make this with turkey or oysters. When I make this at home, some of the family loves oysters, some of the family don't. So everyone here loves oysters. So we're going to do all of the oysters. If I did this at home, I'd just do half. Sometimes you'll get a big oyster. It's okay to cut it in half. These are some pretty good size. You know, if you get one this size of a, that big, cut them up. These are perfect oysters. So we're gonna mix this. Then I've got 2 raw eggs. The raw eggs will help it hold together. Whoop. The shells are a bad idea. And then if you're making this with turkey, the turkey broth right out of the pan. At home sometimes I'll cook a turkey the day before and use the turkey crumbs and the turkey broth to do it. So this is going to get pretty wet. You know, people complain the dressing's too dry. So you want it really moist. So you can't take the water back out or the stock. So you want to add it a little bit at a time until you get that consistency that you're looking for. You want to incorporate all the dry bread crumbs into it. And then salt. I'm gonna, that is about a teaspoon or so of salt. And then probably the same amount of pepper. And a little bit more of the broth. The last toss. Oh, so I'm going to get a good look at this. And then from here, I have a buttered Dutch oven. And I'm going to put so you want to pack it in to get rid of the air pockets a little bit. And I cooked this at 350 degrees, uncovered for about an hour. So it'll rise up, it'll kind of look like a souffle, and it'll be the best dressing you've ever had. So I'll be back in an hour. Stay tuned. This is our oyster stuffing, oyster dressing. So beautiful, moist.
Ooh, that looks so good.
Very hot. Some people like gravy on top. And the gravy's good on everything, especially the mashed potatoes. It smells delicious.
That is amazing. It's so good.
So,
Yummy.
there you go.
Love this recipe.
Perfect stuffing or dressing recipe. Oysters, no oysters, but it's great with turkey. So,
Amazing.
and we're going to post the recipes, correct?
Yes, we will post the recipes.
All right. Thank you and happy holidays. We're ready.
Hi, so we're back, and we just wanted to thank you so much for participating in the webinar tonight. We are so grateful and thankful to be able to bring to you some of our favorite recipes. As a reminder, this is actually your part of your executive team. We're missing Patrick here with us tonight, but I'm your president-elect. Mark Lambert is our past president, and we have Ken Phillips here, our treasurer, and he's also with SCA, and so we've had a really good time tonight. And so we're wrapping this up, really kind of going through the, traditional mashed potato recipe. Everyone has a favorite, and so we're just going to kind of talk about which one we like and what we like to do with our mashed potatoes, because pretty much everyone knows that you start with a basic. You got the potatoes, milk, and butter, and then it's everything else that you do with it that really makes it your own. So yeah, we're just gonna chit chat and
The type of potatoes.
yeah.
I'm lazy. I don't like to peel the potatoes, so I'll go with this smooth skin potato like a Yukon Gold or a red, but I really like the Yukon Gold because of the thin skin. And when I cook them, literally dump the bag into the stock, don't cut them, don't peel them. It's pretty user friendly, but you really can't do that with a russet. The skin's thick, it's dense. You probably could do it, but the result is not the same. So
Yeah.
lazy, don't peel them.
Right. I think my technique is I use 3 pounds of russet potatoes. I peel them and I cube them. And then I put 2 cloves of garlic in the water, and while that's cooking, then I just do 2 cups of milk. I have a stick of butter and some salt, and I warm that up in the microwave or on the stove top. I kind of get that hot, and then I just mash my potatoes and add that mixture and salt and pepper to taste. Very simple, but really, really good. We like that, and that's really my simple recipe.
So you just quarter them pretty much.
Do you like to use a hand mixer, a hand masher?
Good. Yeah, I actually use an electric mixer or masher, not the mixer, but just because it helps kind of mash the potato a little better, and it's a little easier to mix as well.
If they have a ricer, if you've never seen a ricer, it's just a food mill. You put them in there, as you turn it, it pushes the potatoes through a sieve, so it gives them a different texture.
Yeah.
So depending on the texture you're looking for, those work great. Hand mixers work great. You know, as I say, people overwork them sometimes, but I think at the end of the day, depending on the type of potato, whether you hand mash it or some people like really creamy, some people like chunks.
Yeah.
It's really your personal preference, as long as you've got your starch cooked right, you've got some good fat, some butter, and some milk or cream. If you use cream, don't add it till right at the end. You over whip it, you're just getting it really thick and pasty.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you can make it your own. Season it the way you want it, but I love to use stock. I love to use a little bit of cream. I love a little bit of garlic and some salt and pepper. I'm pretty traditional. And then you can top it off.
Some chives, you know, something green that'll pop, or more butter.
Yeah.
Sour cream, some people like. I'm a traditionalist, so sometimes I just put a little shaved Parmesan on top of that, and I'm happy.
Nice. Yeah, I've used
And a whole stick of butter.
A whole stick
of
There,
butter. I
you,
think we can all
you go
agree with
cheap
that.
on the
More
butter,
better.
you're out of the gate.
The more the better on butter. I know I've had some that have actually put onion in their mashed potatoes, and it's also good. It's really just whatever you want to do to make it your own. I mean, or you can go out back and get some sprig of rosemary.
You can't go wrong,
And
you know,
put
really.
some rosemary on the top for decoration, and obviously the topping for me is a nice square piece of butter to sit right up on the top so that it melts, you know, for that table. But yeah, I mean, anything you put in it is going to be great. Everyone starts out with the basic, and then, you know, mom's recipe, sister's recipe, dad's, grandma's, you know, whatever you've learned over the years, you can't go wrong with mashed potatoes.
If in fact
And make enough.
yeah,
They're
Yes.
great leftovers. So
if you have them left over, which I always like to have leftover potatoes, that it's real easy to make a little potato fritter. So you can take your leftover potatoes, about that much, and put about I want to say a third of a cup of flour and a quarter teaspoon or so of baking powder. Add some
egg.
onions, an egg, and then drop that into some hot oil in a nonstick skillet and brown it really good at 2 or 3 minutes on each side. Awesome potato fritters the next day.
Sounds like what we're going to
gourmet
have
tater
tomorrow.
tots. Yum.
You're going to cook that first tomorrow morning?
Sure.
Hey, we've got potatoes.
Yeah. So, anything else? Any other tips?
No, it's a great day.
No, it's a good day. We hope you enjoy meeting a little bit of the board and enjoying a couple of our recipes and things we like to do for the holidays. So thanks for joining us, and please go check us out at the NBBQA website, the National Barbecue and Grilling Association, for more webinars in our webinar series and the schedule coming up.
Yeah, and we just really want to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we look forward to seeing you at our conference in March. More to come on that.
In Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville.
I've learned how to say that.
But thank you so much. We've had a great time.